Good morning/afternoon, everyone. I'm delighted to welcome you today. We'll be exploring a fascinating topic, Stephen Greenblatt's concept of the circulation of social energy. This is the first slide of our presentation, and I'm excited to guide you through it. During our time together, we will look at the key ideas behind Greenblatt's theory, discuss its significance, and see how it applies to social and cultural dynamics. Let's get started. All right, let's delve into the core ideas behind New Historicism. Stephen Greenblatt is widely recognized as its founder, and his approach fundamentally changes how we look at literature. Instead of viewing texts in isolation, Greenblatt emphasizes how literature interacts with the social, political, and cultural contexts in which it was created. Think of a piece of literature not just as an art form, but as a product deeply embedded in the world around it. This brings us to the concept of the circulation of social energy. Essentially, it's about understanding how ideas, emotions, and power move through society and how they influence the creation and interpretation of texts. When we analyze literature this way, we see it as a dynamic exchange, kind of like a flow of energy that shapes and is shaped by the social environment. Connecting all this to our overall theme, New Historicism encourages us to view texts as active participants in history, constantly interacting with the social forces of their time. It's a powerful way to appreciate how literature both reflects and influences the world, making our analysis richer and more interconnected. So let's explore the concept of social energy. When I talk about social energy, I'm referring to the dynamic cultural forces that shape societies. These include beliefs, ideologies, emotions, rituals, power structures, and myths. They're the driving forces behind how cultures evolve and how people connect with each other. Now, what's really interesting is how literature interacts with these energies. Literature doesn't just passively reflect what's happening around us. It actively absorbs these cultural forces. And then, it transforms them, giving them new life, new meaning, or even challenging them. This process is crucial because it shows us how stories and texts are embedded in the cultural fabric. They both influence and are influenced by the social energies at play. Understanding this relationship helps us see literature as a powerful tool that captures the spirit of a time and perhaps even shifts it. Throughout this presentation, I want us to keep in mind how these forces, these social energies, are central to understanding literature's role within culture. They're the unseen currents that shape the stories we tell and the stories we live. Now, let's take a closer look at the circulation process. First, society as a whole produces cultural energies. These are the ideas, values, and beliefs that shape us. Next, authors play a crucial role by encoding these energies into literature, turning abstract concepts into tangible stories and texts. Then, when readers engage with these works, they do so on both an emotional and intellectual level, making personal connections and interpretations. Finally, these energies don't just stay put. They are redistributed through this engagement, which can either reinforce existing norms or challenge them, prompting societal change. This cycle highlights how literature acts as a dynamic force in shaping and reshaping cultural norms, tying back to the larger theme of literature's influence on society. When we move beyond the idea of the isolated genius, we start to see that great literary works are really part of a larger cultural conversation. Instead of thinking of authors as lone creators working in a vacuum, it's more accurate to see their works as sites of cultural negotiation. That means texts are constantly engaging with, responding to, and reshaping the social and cultural energies around them. In a way, these works capture the social dynamics of their time and then redistribute that energy through storytelling, language, and ideas. So, understanding literature this way helps us see it as a reflection and a force within society, not just individual brilliance. This perspective really ties into our overall theme of viewing literature as a social and cultural act, rather than just a display of individual talent. Let's take a closer look at how Shakespeare's plays serve as a window into the culture of Elizabethan England. During that time, issues like power, religion, gender roles, and colonialism were all deeply influential and often intertwined in society. Shakespeare's works reflect these themes, but also challenge and reshape them. For example, Macbeth explores ambition and the question of moral order, how personal desire can disrupt societal stability. It's a reflection of the fears and values of the period, but also a commentary on the destructive nature of unchecked ambition. Then we have The Tempest, which provides insight into colonial encounters and the complexities of colonization, how Europeans viewed and interacted with the New World and its peoples. Hamlet, on the other hand, tackles themes of legitimacy and anxiety, questions about rightful authority and the uncertainty that comes with political and personal legitimacy. What's truly fascinating is how these plays both mirror and influence the culture of Elizabethan England. They don't just reflect societal concerns, they actively participate in reshaping ideas about identity, power, and morality. So, in essence, Shakespeare's works are not just entertainment. They're a cultural dialogue that helps us understand and even reconsider the values and conflicts of that era. Let's explore the idea of literature as a form of cultural exchange. Think of literature as a kind of medium of exchange, much like currency, but in the realm of ideas and symbols. It's a way for different cultures to share their stories, beliefs, and values. When we look at how ideas and symbols move between art and society, we see a dynamic flow. Art borrows energy from society, capturing current thoughts and feelings. In return, art offers meaning, deep insights, and new perspectives that can influence society itself. It's a reciprocal relationship, where art and society continually shape and inform each other. This exchange highlights how literature isn't just static. It's a vibrant, ongoing dialogue that reflects and influences cultural identities, connecting us all across different times and places. Let's take a look at Slide 8, which focuses on subversion and containment. As we explore this, it's important to see how literature plays a dual role in society. First, literature can challenge social tensions by questioning norms and highlighting issues that might be uncomfortable or overlooked. At the same time, it also helps contain those tensions, preventing them from boiling over into chaos. This means literature not only expresses dissent, giving voice to those who might feel marginalized, but it also neutralizes potential conflict by offering a safe space for these ideas to be shared. It acts as a kind of safety valve, ensuring that ideas circulate in a controlled and constructive way. So the key concept here is that literature functions both as a tool for social critique and a means of maintaining stability. This balance allows for the healthy flow of new ideas without threatening social order. It's a fascinating dynamic that ties into the broader theme of how culture mediates societal tensions. So, why does all of this matter? Well, literature isn't just a collection of stories or poems, it's a living part of our culture. It reflects the values, struggles, and ideas that define us as a society. When we analyze literature, we're actually uncovering the power structures and ideologies that shape our world. It's a way to see how art can influence and reveal deeper social truths. And importantly, literature moves beyond just aesthetics or beauty. It acts as a form of social dialogue, encouraging us to question, debate, and understand different perspectives. By engaging with literature in this way, we're participating in a continuous conversation about who we are and what we believe. Overall, understanding why literature matters helps us appreciate its role in shaping culture and fostering social awareness, making it a vital part of our collective experience. Let's wrap things up by considering the main ideas on this final slide. First, we see that literature acts as a conduit of social energy. What does that mean? Well, literature isn't just stories or poems, it's a powerful force that channels and reflects the collective energy of society. It helps us understand and even shape the social currents around us. Next, we see art as an active participant in culture. Art isn't just a background or decoration. It actively engages with cultural issues, influences public perception, and becomes a vital part of how society evolves. Art challenges us, provokes thought, and sometimes even drives change. Finally, the texts we create and share move through forces that shape human history. These forces include social movements, political shifts, technological advances, and cultural exchanges. All of these elements influence how texts are produced, interpreted, and remembered. Connecting this to the overall theme, it's clear that literature and art are dynamic forces. They're not static. They're intertwined with the social fabric and historical forces that shape our world. Understanding this helps us see how cultural expressions are both a mirror and a motor of societal change.